I'm Renuka Kirpalani. I live in Mumbai and I have a really interesting job. I'm an automotive journalist. I test drive and review cars. So my childhood was a little different. It was very much around a workshop. When other kids were learning that pigs grunt, I was learning that grunt was the power of a car. When they were learning that snakes hiss, for me, it was the sound of a well-tuned carburetor. And that's what I saw my dad doing as I grew up in the workshop. Very often after school, I'd be taken to the workshop. And just to keep me busy, I'd be given a car part to open up and put back together again. So I was mechanically minded very, very early on. I grew up around cars, so that passion was seeded in me very, very young. Of course, I always wanted to rally and race, and it was a dream of mine. So the journey to my first race wasn't an easy one. It was pretty long because my father really didn't want me to get into racing, strangely enough. I worked for a while as a hairdresser, and finally when I had enough money, I bought my first car, which was my dad's race car. He used to build these race cars and they used to sell them off at the end of every year. So I bought that race car and I entered my very first race. He wasn't too happy about it, but I have to say that all the boys that I'd grown up with around the racetrack, they kind of egged me on, they pushed me and they said, come on, this is something you've always wanted to do, you've got to do it. A lot of people ask me, how did it feel to be a woman in a man's world? It was tough. But the people I raced against, the boys, they all treated me as an equal. And I guess if you're doing something and doing it well, that just happens naturally. But, it is a man's world, and my championship trophy of 1994, which is right here, which is why I have it here, stands testimony of that because it says Mr. Renuka Kirpalani on it. I guess they didn't think women were racing or rallying or capable of winning a championship at that point of time. And I didn't get it changed, though, the FMSCI was really apologetic and said, oh man, we'll get it changed. I said, no, leave it there because it just kind of reminds me of what I did. But it was a fun time. I really loved my racing and rallying years. There were wins, there were losses, ups, downs, but it was what I loved doing, so that just kept driving me on. And I ended it on a high with a championship, so that was good. And the end came because I was pregnant and I didn't know that I was pregnant. And then I gave up racing and rallying, obviously, for a very, very long time. That passion for racing, rallying and cars never went away. So many years later, in 2003, Hormuz Surabji, who's the editor of Autocar India, he said, hey, we're doing this television show. We require someone to anchor and test drive and review cars, and we want someone who knows cars. Would you be willing to do it? And antlers went up. It was a chance to get back into the world of cars, and I was like, of course I want to do this. That journey has been incredible. A lot of fun things I've done along the way. Of course, test driving and reviewing every single car that comes into the Indian market is a big high. Driving from Germany to India over 12,000 kilometers, driving across the SAARC countries, crossing over to Pakistan through Wagah border for the first time ever in Indian number plate cars after independence. I've done some crazy, crazy things. The last of them being driving at 357.1 at Nat tracks and breaking a record to become the fastest woman. So yeah, this automotive journalism job has given me some memories for a lifetime. When I first started, I was probably the only woman around. Most of those pictures are like about 20 guys and me in the middle. But that's changed just now, and I'm so happy to see so many more female automotive journalists enter the field. I hope I've managed to inspire a few. It's really nice to see that change happening. More and more women reporting in on cars, it being accepted more and more. It's never felt like being a woman in a man's world, and I've never looked at it that way. I kind of went out and did a job. I didn't see who I was, where I was. Where I do see bias is nowadays on social media and on, YouTube channels. And just because I'm a woman, we'll talk about why is this grey-haired woman still reporting on cars. I mean, grey-haired men report on things every single day of their lives, but you don't comment on that, do you? Just the other day on a shoot, I remember one of the cameramen telling me that, लड़की के हाथ में मुझे life नहीं डालना है, because I was asking him to do something a little extra with the camera out of the window. And then after the shoot, he's saying, "Ma'am, आप क्या चलाते हो?" There are words of a song that I really like, which is "Life is a roller coaster and you've just got to ride it." Very recently, at 56, I cracked a 357.1 km/h record. I don't think many people could say that they've done that, and I don't intend to stop. 400 next, maybe, who knows what. And I think that's the spirit one needs to have. Never give up, never feel down. Life's never going to be smooth sailing. People will troll you, things will happen. But as long as you're confident in yourself, as long as you believe in you, then I don't think anything outside can shake you. Be yourself, be authentic, especially in this world of social media where there's a lot of fake things happening. Be authentic, and then you'll stand out from the rest. And of course, more than anything else, believe in yourself.